Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Shogun 2 with the total fall of the samurai mod. As I said in the last episode of the series, I would do an extra video showcasing a bit of the new update that was released, which as you can see has added a new faction, Prussia. However, I'm not entirely sure that it works for campaign just yet. There were also a few other nations that were added, but I'm not entirely sure. I tested it out here, unless I've done something wrong. They're not fleshed out, but they're currently, like, in the game. They've been given a certain area there. So there's the Koreans, the Chinese, the Russians, the Prussians, the Netherlands, and Prussia, I believe it was. Besides the earlier ones, the British, the Americans, or the US, and the French. And the French is who we are meeting today. And without further ado, let's go ahead and start this battle. So the Prussians have drawn up a line across here. Let's go ahead, we can go ahead and see here. So we have set up behind this defensive line, and we're also out on this side of the river as well. Let's go quickly through and take a look at our troops as the French are advancing. So over here we've got the Brunswickens. The map is a bit dodgy over here. So you got the Brunswicken there with the death skull there, very nice. We've got quite a few of those. Further in on the line we've got the normal line infantry. Notice also how they all have their own standard next to the Prussian one. So each regiment or each different unit has its own standard, or as far as I've seen. And so here we have the standard Prussian line infantry. They exist in 3 tiers. So there's 3 types of line infantry, or there are 3 tiers of them. I haven't yet figured out what the difference is in between the tiers. And that's line infantry all the way to the end. And over here we've got the Prussian Jaegers, which we've set up right here. Notice again, got the different flag right there. And I've got quite a few of those. And backing those guys up is the cavalry, or at least a big portion of the cavalry. So right here we have the hussars, very nice looking unit. We might want to take a look maybe at, let's see, who's the captain here? It looks like this guy. But it could be, where's the center? I guess they're all kind of ish the same, or maybe I'm not just seeing him. I guess this guy, because he looks, I think he has the old, like, Napoleon Total War face. Or the general one, like Russian general. Here we've got the dragoons. As you can see, they've got a rifle on the back. And over here we've got the guard lancers. I want to make sure we don't miss the fighting, but it doesn't look as though the French infantry has got very far as of yet. Yeah, they're slowly advancing through here. The French have got a bit of an update, so I imagine most units have got a bit of an update. So we'll take a look at the French soon. I want to just take a look at the last few units here of my army, which is, here we've got the Prussian Guard infantry right here. Notes again, different flag. Got some cannon shots going through here. Nasty. The general, which we saw in the start. The cannons. I think everything looks fine so far. One thing that this sort of reminds me of Mountain Blade. Like he has de-equipped, like he equips the what's it called? The lighter or something to light the cannon, and while he does that, he puts the ramrod on his back, which looks a bit strange. I don't think you would carry it like that in real life. Which I think it looks funny, and it reminds me of Mountain Blade. Here's the guard. The guard cavalry of the Prussians. You got even the little eagle there on top. Very nice. And yes, that's it. There's a few new things as well in terms of the units, what they can do. So this one can actually use canister shot, which I think is interesting. It's a lot more useful than the what's it called? The shrapnel shot, which you get the normal normal Fall of the Samurai, which is not that useful, quite annoying. Ooh, that cut close to the general. And also, I think they've changed out the cavalry. Normally, cavalry is super fast in Shogun, but I think they've gone for more of a Darth mod style of cavalry, when you've got this slow pace of the cavalry, and then as they get close, they go into a charge. But even the charge then is not as fast as in Shogun. I mean, in Shogun, normal Shogun, or Fall of the Samurai for that matter as well, it goes, the cavalry like is extremely fast, is it not? So that's a change. I can't exactly remember what these troops were. It's some kind of Legion infantry, but I can't remember what Legion. By the color scheme, you would guess they're Portuguese, but I don't think they are. Holy shit, they're blowing up anyways. Let's see, what else? There's some French units. So I think these are new, or a new style on them. I remember, if you remember in the last French one, they didn't have these long coats. Instead, it was a jacket that stopped by the belt, which I actually remarked on looked ugly. So that's a nice change that they've got this style of infantry now in the game. And I think most of the units that I put in the enemy army were those normal line infantrymen, which we can see marching up here. We'll see if we can find some other interesting troops. I think these were the light infantrymen, and then we've got guard infantry right here. There's two different kinds. These with the coats, and then I think there's one that doesn't have the coat. Yes, these guys, which look like the earlier ones, which I was talking about. They don't have the long coat. Instead, they have just a jacket that stops by the sort of the waist. And as we can see, the enemy is closing in, and looks like they're going to charge my line, focusing in on a few areas. Looks like they're really gonna try to hammer us here, and there's a few other areas where they're trying to really hard attack. One thing that I did do is I removed most of the French cavalry, because I didn't want them to just throw them away in the beginning of the match like they always do, and that sort of would also pressure me to sort of keep the video or keep looking at the action while I was trying to work out the basics to start off with. So that's why there's no French cavalry on the scene. So we're really hammering it to the French here as they slowly advance into this massacre. But they keep going, and sooner or later here I think we'll see they're going into melee. They're very close here. And at this range, I think it would probably be quite nice with maybe some canister, don't you say? The line is still holding on, but you can see that it's so much enemy infantry there that there's a risk of them breaking through. So let's go ahead, tell these guys to fire canister. I want canister down behind them. So if you could, we're probably gonna blow. Oh shit! No, 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 no. Back on your cannons. I think the enemy is broken completely. Let's tell all the cannons to fire canister at this point. So we'll get some of the enemies blown away with canister. So just because the AI, I mean, the AI is stupid, so the armies were actually quite equal in strength and size. I'd boosted the enemy and my own troops quite a bit. So they were very well matched. The thing is, I guess the AI I don't know why they decided to march up all the way. and just slowly walk into my defense, which costs them thousands of men, as we can see. And also the fact that, I think we can see it here, I didn't really focus in on it, but once the enemy that was out here marched in and then sort of turned as to walk towards this area, and it looks like they attacked this unit, or tried to at least, but you can see they've got absolutely massacred as they were walking sideways in front of our lines, which was, I mean, incredibly stupid, I must say. But then again, that's the AI, so it's probably better to play this mod against, you know, instead of playing. I'm not entirely sure if it works on multiplayer. I hope it does, because that's one of the things I'm looking forward to. Maybe doing Crimean War once the Russians get in, and stuff like that. Hopefully as well, with this mod coming out, or with this being available now, we will see people doing custom maps, European custom maps, because a lot of these I couldn't really find any to base or set up the battle on. So this is, I mean, a keen American Civil War reenactor, or just knows the history, has probably figured out that this is supposed to be Fredericksburg. So this is, if you're wondering what this map is, you can get it on the Steam Workshop as the Fredericksburg map. I think it's the 3rd version of it. I know I have put another version of this map that when I actually did like a Fredericksburg battle, where I had, I think, 4 enemy armies, if I'm not mistaken, march up on me and attack, and one of which was player controlled, or at least I tried. I'm not entirely sure what the enemy is doing right now. You know what? For the end here, we will call in the cavalry. So I want the Prussian Guard cavalry to advance. What's this back here? Oh, it's my cannon. Right, so we can check. Oh shit. Infantry, hold your fire as well. So check the speed on the cavalry here. Normally, cavalry would have, you know, charged ahead really quickly in Shogun. They would have sped across. I guess this is because there's the heavy cavalry, but I mean, there's no cavalry that runs in Shogun 2 at this speed. And I mean, they're not even that fast in the charge. Which, I mean, this is more historically accurate, and gives a new tactical meaning to the cavalry when it's not as fast. The thing, however, when the cavalry is not as fast, I would have liked to see the cavalry do more of a punch, in that it would be more of a serious blow once they actually reached the enemy lines. So maybe the characteristics should be boosted a little bit to sort of show off that, and maybe more of a morale deficit buff thingy once they actually attack you in, say, from the side or from the back, that your troops will more quickly give up due to a cavalry charge, which means that you don't just throw your cavalry in there as a crazy maniac. You more have to plan where to send in the cavalry and how to send it in. Obviously, this was the heaviest cavalry on the Prussian team, more or less, as we didn't get to see the lighter cavalry, but they move at the same kind of speed, which is, if the light cavalry still holds the same kind of characteristics, then light cavalry obviously becomes quite useless. But as this is a work in progress, I'm sure that the maker of the mod is well aware of this, and is working hard to improve it at every turn. So maybe just some suggestions from me. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this. There might be some more custom battles from this, because I really like the Prussians. and the new units. We might see some more stuff, but this was the extra video, and now we'll go on to start working on the Empire series that we talked about. So, without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!